Hey everybody, I'm Dan. Let's get right to it. Mary's behind the camera. Mercedes mechanic, one of our subscribers, asked a really cool question. He was watching some of the Jackery videos that we did, and this is what he threw out in the comments. Some of you may have seen it. Hey, how many times can I run a 1500-watt Keurig coffee maker before I'd have to plug the Jackery back in to charge it back up? Well, we don't own a Keurig, so it's sort of difficult for us to answer the question, but we can answer the question for the most part. See, we're old school. We've got Mr. Coffee makers here. They run 650 watts each, so that's 1,300 watts. It would take about 10 minutes to brew the cups of coffee with these machines, so it wouldn't be a similar test. But what we can do is we can use our Hamilton Beach toaster oven. This thing runs at 1,400 watts. So that's a pretty darn good approximation of Mercedes Mechanics 1,500 watt Keurig coffee maker. So what I'm going to do is start Mary's camera. We're going to have Mary's camera recording. And right now it's recording the display of the Jackery. We just charged it up to 100%. It was at 93. We brought it up to 100 and 0 input, 0 output. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and turn on, I've got to reset the timer. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and we're going to have the Jackery set up. You can see on the display 100%, 0 input, 0 output. What I'm going to do is turn on the timer for 1 minute and turn on the toaster oven. So you can't see it in that video, but we'll set up, when we do the editing, we'll get the video in video. We're running 1,379 watts right now. And as the Jackery gets known, we know that if you ran a 1,400 watt load through the Jackery, it would only last about maybe 1.2 hours. That's all you'd get out of it. But we're talking this coffee maker, a Keurig coffee maker only cycles for like a minute and then it shuts down. And since we don't have one, we're not sure of the power curve. We're just going off of the manual and what we learned on the internet. So while we're waiting, hey, a big shout out to Mercedes Mechanic. Just a big shout out. It's a wonderful channel. We've been checking it out. We urge you to do the same. All right, the timer just went off. We'll shut that off. The Jackery just went down to 99%. We'll give it a couple seconds. We'll get some of that residual heat out of here. Thank goodness I'm not leaning my hand on this, or my arm on this thing. Oh my goodness. So we're at 99%. We'll hit the timer again. We'll turn on the toaster and turn on the display again. Now we're at 1,357 watts at 99%. So this thing is just banging away. Again, I mentioned it's got 4,000 recharge cycles down to 70%. Weighs about 39.5 pounds. We own the older machine in lithium ion, and we own this in lithium iron phosphate. We bought the old one in 2022, this one in May of 2025. We love our Jackeries. They are absolutely fantastic. We're still at 99%. We've got 18 seconds to go here. We just changed to 98%. And we'll do one more cycle. 7 seconds left. All right, we'll let that clear for a couple of seconds. You can see the elements getting nice and red there. So right now we've done 2 tests and the Jackery went from 99 to 98%. So maybe you're only going to use 1% of the Jackery for each cycle of your Keurig coffee maker. We'll go ahead and we'll fire this up again. We'll set the timer. We're at 1,355 watts, still at 98%. And maybe that's the thing, with a 1,500 watt Keurig coffee maker, you might burn 1.5% or 2%. So let's say the machine goes down 1% every time you run the coffee machine, the Keurig. Technically, you might get 100 uses out of the machine. Generally, you're supposed to run these Jackeries down to about 20% before you start to charge them back up. So that might get you to 70 or 80 cycles. And the only really good way to know is just to go through and do a test like that. But right now we're on test number 3. We've got 17 seconds left. We're at 97%. So we've used 3% of the Jackery's power. We're at 1,347 watts. 7 seconds to go. But it's a great question, and this is a great test of the Jackery. All right, and there we are. We've done 3 cycles so far with the toaster oven. The Jackery is down to 97%. So at 1400 watts, we're using roughly 1% of the machine up while we're going through a test like this. If it's a 1500 watt coffee maker, maybe it'll burn 1.5%. We're not really sure. With a Keurig, maybe it's just got high intensity while it heats the water, and then while it drips the water in, maybe it doesn't run that much. So maybe you'll get more out of the Jackery. The only thing I could say is get a Jackery and try it. But it's been a great test. This is test number 4. We're down to 96%. We'll go ahead and stop the video right now. Thank you very much for watching Mercedes Mechanic. We'll give you a shout out again. And for anybody interested in our videos, check them out. We'd be glad to answer any questions you have. We appreciate the engagement. We'll see you on the next video.